Microsoft doesn't make money off the sale of their consoles, but I think that's something we already knew, but it further pushes home the point that the Xbox strategy going into this generation of gaming is the best strategy. This week has been a very interesting week when it comes to getting news from the Epic versus Apple trial. We've seen documents come out, emails back and forth between Epic and Microsoft. And overall, there's been a lot of insight as to how the gaming industry actually works. Now, in the recent developments, Xbox's head of business development, Lori Wright, was called up as a third-party witness. And Lori was asked, does Xbox make any money off of the sale of the hardware? And the answer to that was, we don't. We sell the consoles at a loss. And we all knew this. We knew that the consoles were being sold at a loss, both the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, as well as the PlayStation 5. And if you just look at what's inside of these consoles and the amount of money that we are paying as consumers, it is obvious that there's no way they're making money off of these consoles. Now, to clarify that stance, a Microsoft spokesperson did come out and say that the gaming business is a profitable and high growth business for Microsoft. And we've already seen that with their recent financial reports for Q3, where they have broken records with Xbox. They continue on to say the console gaming business is traditionally a hardware subsidy model. Game companies sell consoles at a loss to attract new customers. Profits are generated in game sales and online service subscriptions. And we see this every single generation. At the beginning, the consoles are bigger, they're bulkier, they're sold at the highest price. And then as we go through the generation, we get the slim models, the prices start to come down, there's more bundles that come out. And what makes all these companies money is the subscription and the digital purchases through the online store. So this is relevant to this case because basically they're trying to make the point that they aren't making any money off of these consoles, and that is the reason why they have to take a 30% cut when you buy a game through Microsoft's store, because Apple was trying to argue that it's not wrong what they're doing by taking a 30% cut by in-app purchases for games that are sold through the iOS store. So for example, Fortnite, if somebody wanted to buy V-Bucks when it was on iOS, Apple would take a 30% cut. That isn't wrong if the consoles are taking a 30% cut off of their in-store purchases, which makes no sense because they aren't making money off the console itself, and the only way they are making money is through their digital purchases and through their subscriptions. And earlier to this, we saw that Microsoft was considering cutting the revenue share of the Xbox store down to 12% from 30%, like they are doing with their PC store. But later, they came out and clarified that that is not going to happen because they literally won't be making money if they do that by cutting that revenue share down from 30 to 12. All this information coming out is just further pointing to the fact that comparing console sales is just a wasted activity. It is pretty clear that since they're sold at a loss, the way that these companies are going to succeed in the future going forward is through all of the digital downloads of all the purchases of games made through PSN, made through the Xbox store, and their subscription services, which is why the strategy Microsoft is employing this generation and going forward is going to be the winning strategy, and it is the best strategy right now in the console space. One thing with PlayStation 5 is, yes, they sell a ton of consoles. So PlayStation 5 has sold 7.8 million, which is more in the same time frame to the PS4, which sold 7.6 million units. But because of the chip shortages and just how hard it is to create the supply for these consoles and the demand being so high, PlayStation 5 is considering redesigning the PS5 and it's going to enter production into 2022. Now, this is according to the Taiwanese business website DigiTimes, which claims that the suppliers, including semiconductor foundry TSMC, are planning to start producing the redesigned PS5 console between the second and third quarter of next year. Now, this came out during an investor call where Sony CFO Hiroki Totoki talked about the chip shortages and how it is affecting the production and how they want to be able to beat the sales volume from the PS4 during year 2. He says here the shortage of semiconductors is one factor, but there are other factors that will impact on the production of volume. So at present, we'd like to aim at beating second year sales of 14.8 million, which was the second year of the PS4. For example, we could find many secondary resources, or by changing the design, we could cope. So yes, the PS5 is selling like crazy, but PlayStation, Sony are not making any money off of the individual sales of these consoles. And in order for them to be really profitable and make a lot of money, they have to push as many PS5s into the public so that you're locked in to a PlayStation 5 so they can sell you their software, their first party exclusives where they're going to be making all the money. And then hopefully you'll continue to buy stuff off of PSN. But the reason I say the Xbox strategy is the winning strategy and is the better strategy, and I think we will see PlayStation slowly start adopting it, is the fact that there are these production issues with the consoles. Sony relies so heavily on pushing their hardware out into people's homes that if there are issues like this, their bottom line is going to be affected significantly. With Xbox and their strategy, as we know, they have the ecosystem of being able to play Xbox Game Pass on whatever device you want, PC, Xbox, phones, through a browser. And there isn't as much risk when they can't get that supply out there to meet their demand. They still have that huge ecosystem where people are signing up and playing Xbox Game Pass, so they can continue to be profitable. And I think once Sony starts to see their bottom line start to dwindle a bit and slowly start to decrease, that's really when they're going to start planning for and picking up their subscription services. And I think at some point we're going to see a PlayStation subscription services that include the first party Sony games on day one. I think that is inevitable. I know that they say now that they value them so much that you should value them to a point where you want to pay $100 on day one to get it. But that currently I think is just their marketing with PlayStation, and maybe not this generation. It may only be next generation, but I do predict that we're going to see that move from locking people into a PS5 console to play their first party games over to more of the Xbox ecosystem strategy. And I predict that, and I hope that, because I think that would be the best thing for all gamers. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the two strategies, PlayStation's strategy and Xbox's strategy. And if you think that PlayStation's strategy is going to be able to last beyond this generation of gaming. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you are new here and you like what you see throughout this video, I'd really appreciate you hitting that subscribe button to help this channel grow and help grow this community so we can have great conversations in the comments below. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video.